So today we will spend a little bit lesser time because no power here and my laptop also have less charging. So we'll spend a little time and we'll see this tomorrow. We'll continue. So just I'll move to this. So yesterday we discussed about Android right versions and history of the Android, how it became an open source, and what are the development stages of that we discussed in detail. So now today we'll see the versions and version wise features. So on that version and version wise features, some of the versions and version wise features we will cover here now today. So we'll start from the Cupcake, because Cupcake onwards it is an operating system based. So as we discussed yesterday, so 2008, the first version of Android as released in the market in 2008. So that is as a application, not an operating system. So but this version 2009, this version Cupcake onwards, it is an operating system. So here the features of this Cupcake as on-screen keyboard. Right now what we are using the on-screen keyboard, that feature as introduced in 2009. And auto rotation, like portrait to landscape, landscape to portrait, that auto rotation feature introduced in this version. And the next, copy paste option. Nowadays we can do copy paste anywhere in the application, but on those days the copy paste option is available only on a browser. And the next is the some of the widgets are introduced. So those widgets are like analog clock, calendar, music player, and search option. So these all are the features are introduced in Cupcake on 2009 April. So after that, in the same year, after around 6 months, the next version which is introduced, that is a donut. So that is in the month of September 2009. So in this version, the features are, so some of the, from every version to version, almost the features wise there is a link, because if the feature, some of the features are extension of the old features and some of them as bug fixes, like that it should be here also. In this version here it is introduced as a first as a quick search. So here quick search as added, here it is a search is enabled, but here quick search as enabled, and VPN setup like virtual private network connectivity setup like Wi-Fi connectivity and all, like in our laptops also. So some of the places like office or somewhere, so it will set up the virtual setup, only the particular IP people can access that, like that setup is as introduced here. And after that, why search as enabled in this version. Why search in the sense like right now what we are using the OK Google, like that kind of search as introduced. And the next is the battery indicator, like it shows the battery indicator like 20%, 30%, whatever that it is showing, that battery indicator is showing this. And faster booting. So previously when we restart the device, it is a very slow restarting, but this version onwards it is speed. And here Play Store also introduced from this version onwards, means user can able to install the apps from the Play Store also. So that is introduced here. Then after gesture animation. So gesture animation is nothing but it's a moving. Like right now when we while our phone is ringing, if just we will rotate, means just will swipe the phone, so automatically the volume could be reduced. So that is a getter, means while movement, some kind of animation is happening. That is a getter animation. So that getter animation as introduced in this version. Like not only that, while we are playing a game also, just left rotate, right rotate, and the left and right rotate, that the vehicle movement we can capture. So that kind of feature has introduced here this. Then after the same year, immediately after 1 month, one more version has released, that is Eclair in 2009. So here in this features as Bluetooth feature as introduced in this version, and typing speed increased on a virtual keyboard. Here it is a on-screen keyboard as introduced. So but there is a typing speed is a little bit slow, and that speed has increased. And also while typing, the dictionary option as enabled, and user can add the calendar events, like we will add the reminders, right? So such kind of reminders, calendar events, we can enable to add this. The next, zoom in, zoom out in a browser. So once we open some application in a browser, user can able to zoom in and zoom out on this version. And here these all are the features, but here they got one drawback. That drawback is it is not supporting for the Adobe. Adobe is nothing but like a PDF viewer or Adobe player. So such kind of, it is not supporting that. Then after 5 or 6 months, one more version has released, that is a Proyo. So in this Proyo, it is released in May 2010. So here immediately the drawback of this Adobe that has fixed here, means it this version onwards it is supporting for the Adobe player, Adobe Flash, Adobe PDF, it is supporting this. The next, day and night mode. Right now in our phones we can set up a day mode and night mode. So such feature as introduced in 2010 itself. And device policy manager like passwords and securities. So while you are saving that, you can ask that save. So that saving data could not be in the normal format, it should be the encrypted format. So that device policy manager as introduced in this version. So user can able to save that their password securities in the device itself with encryption format. So that is introduced. Then after that, the crash analytics report. This crash analytics report is very important for the developers. Why? Because once my application is in a live, so before going live, maybe I tested in 10 devices. So what are available devices I tested, but unfortunately another user came, installed an 11th device, means 11 model. I tested with different models, but he used a different model. Then that time this crash analytics will means it will help. Suppose on that particular model and particular device, if it will crash, so that definitely it should be the crash, means that crash, what is the crash, that we need, user need to check that crash. Means as a developer we will get a notification, so and so Samsung device, so and so version, while clicking this, because of this is the reason the application has crashed. Like that, the user will get an alert, so that they can resolve that and they can re-upload the application in a Play Store. So that is one advantage here. Then after that, hotspot. So where we can share our internet connectivity. So using this hotspot, so that hotspot feature has introduced in this. and better browser experience. So the browser means it is add-on feature for the already the web browser. Some of the better browsing experience as added in this. So here up to this it is clear, but here we got one drawback. The drawback is here, no internet calling. This version is not supporting for the internet calling here. So that is a drawback of here this version. So then after 6 months, again next version has released Gingerbread in 2010 December. So the features are here. So as of now, these people are concentrated only on a functionality wise. But from this version onwards, some functionality also they concentrated on a UI as well. So because of this here, UI and UI with high efficiency as introduced in this version, and internet calling. So those days mostly internet calling is nothing but mostly just use the Skype kind of thing. So that it is supporting for the internet calling from this version, and the copy paste option everywhere. Previously it was only on a browser, but now everywhere you can use this. Also support third-party keyboards. So from the Play Store, if you want any third-party keyboards, you can install the third-party keyboard apps and you can use that apps, that keyboards on your phone. And the next is the 3D motion sensors. So it can support for the 3D animation sensors, everything it can support. And data encryption and decryption. When we are building in a dynamic applications, or when you are building in a static application, so if you are installing that means a static application also, if you want to store some kind of data, that using the data encryption and decryption, you can store data in the form of encryption and decryption format. Next, as of now it is fine, but after that we got one issue here. It is a this version is not supporting for the multi-core processor. So this version is not supporting for the multi-core processor. So here, what is the issue? I'll tell you next year. So then after that, after 2 months, the next version has released in February 2011. So it supports the multi-core processor, but it supports only for the tablets, not for the mobiles. So but why? Because nowadays tablets and mobiles both are almost the same configuration wise, but those days tablet means it has the high screen resolution and more hardware configuration compared to the mobile phones. Because of that is the reason here it is not supporting for multi-core processor. But here it has a high resolution. It is supporting for high resolution and high hardware. It is supporting here. So that too, why this problem is occurred here in this means previously, as I told, until 2010 end, no other manufacturers are shown interest on this apart from the HTC. So the complete R&D is happened till that everything is under HTC. So whatever the hardware HTC is using, in that it is working fine. But when new manufacturer came into this, then they got that issue. It is not supporting with some other hardwares. So that immediately they released within 1 or 2 months they released, and it is okay now. So then it's supporting for the live streaming as well. So live streaming also we can able to see from this version onwards. Go onwards. Next after that, ice cream sandwich next version has released here in a few days, almost 1 year from this version. So that is a ice cream sandwich version, November 2011. So here in a home screen folder, like in a home screen, we can create a folder so that favorite apps, all favorite apps, we can move that folder, right? So that feature as introduced in this version. And the next is the virtual button on UI. So on a UI itself, virtual button has introduced, and swipe to clear the notification. Just while swiping that, we will clear the notifications, right? So that feature has introduced. And screenshot sharing, network sharing. So network sharing is nothing but hotspot feature has already introduced, and that some of the updates happened. And while taking the screenshot, automatically the share feature is available from this version onwards. And after that, the next version is Jelly Beans. It is in 2012 June. So here, autocomplete text, like in a Google, once we are searching in a Google, it says that it will give some hints kind of thing, right? I search for the Android, it will give the Android, Java, Android related topics which is given, right? So that kind of autocomplete text we has introduced, and smoother UI is updated, and from this version onwards, it support for the multi-language, and the Google location accuracy as introduced in this version. So the next is the KitKat. It is after 1 more year, so that is 2013. So battery management, like we can manage the battery for the some of the applications, like we can set the sleep mode so that battery will consume some less percentage. So that is introduced, and OK Google feature as introduced here. This and cloud storage, cloud printer means it can using this we can interact with the cloud, like photos. We can sync the photos to the cloud accounts, and cloud printers, Wi-Fi printer. We can connect the Wi-Fi printer, and from this multitasking also introduced in this version. Like multitasking means we can share our screen, split it into two parts, and we can do that some kind of activity in one part, some kind of activity in other part. So that has introduced in this version. And then after in 2014 October, Lollipop version has introduced. So here there is a major change. As of now, it is a 32-bit architecture, but now it is completely changed to the 64-bit architecture. So completely the architecture has changed. So because of the architecture has changed, here no more major features are updated. So because of the architecture change, it can be support for the TV as well as the smart watches. So TV as well as the watches it can support. And because of the 64-bit architecture, it is a more secure compared to the previous. And you can add the quick settings. In a quick settings, right now once we open the from some mobiles from the bottom, or some mobile from the top, just we can swipe. There we can have some shortcuts for the quick settings. So that quick settings we can enable. So that feature we can enable here. So that is only the major updates has not happened in this version. Then after Marshmallow in 2015. So here, based on the 64-bit architecture, design changes are updated, and OK Google function has updated based on 64. And the next is the file explorer, like file manager. Once we open the file manager, so it says that like audio files, video files. So such kind of feature has introduced. As of now, users can install the third-party application for the file explorer, but it is introduced in this. And a battery indicator is the previous feature, just update for this. And security features like runtime permissions. So right now, if we install any application, when we open the first time, it will ask that allow location permission, allow that permission, allow this permission, right? So such kind of permissions are introduced from this Marshmallow onwards. Then after here, so Nagout. So this Nagout is a in 2016. So here also same major features are from the previous only. So that is a battery indicator. Like here from this version onwards, when the battery is low, it will change the color, and when battery is 40%, it will change the color. So such kind of features are introduced in this version. And notifications. So when multiple notifications will come, it will show that one of the two means WhatsApp, two messages from two contacts. It will show. Previously, it shows that only 4 messages, like simply. But now it says that 2 messages from the 2 contacts. And priority. WhatsApp should be first priority, next to Facebook second priority, like that. User can set up the priority also in settings. So based on the priority, automatically that notifications will show this. And the next is the data saver mode. We can turn off like up to 40 GB, 40 MB, 50 MB. That user can set up the data saver mode in their setup. So next, quick settings. So this is also previously as we already discussed here. So that quick settings has updated again. So the copy paste, like if you want to select a specific area, like I want to select only this particular area, so that we can call as that zippy selection. So that zippy selection feature as introduced in this version. Using that, we can select the specific area by touching that screen. We can select the specific area that. And display related updates, because it can support from the low as well as high resolution. So that related issues as fixed in this version. So and the user can create the app shortcuts in home screen. So that is also introduced in this version. And file explorer, this feature has introduced again the enhanced features for this. And the next is the mono jack. Even though we were using the Bluetooth nowadays, even though with single jack also, user can able to listen the proper sound, and that is audio drivers as updated in this version. And emergency info. So there is an app called emergency info. User can set up the data in emergency app, like when you are in danger, with voice command, I'm in danger, automatically the flatline will goes to the normal message to those particular people, so that they can track your location, they can come to you. That kind of feature has introduced here. This and night mode. So this day and night mode previously already introduced in lower version. So for that, updates are introduced. And also from this version onwards, if you want to use the physical keyboard, also you can use the physical keyboard, like tabs and all, we can connect the physical keyboards, like small keyboards are available. So those keyboards also you can connect, and you can check with the different these things. You can do whatever the operations you will do, like copy paste, control C, control X. So such kind of shortcuts also, if you want, you can, when you connect with the physical keyboards, you can utilize that shortcuts also, you can utilize from this version onwards. So up to this Nagoot, each version has minimal features, but now this, after this Oreo onwards, each version has minimum 10 to 12 features. So that too, those features are nowadays very important, because almost in the market now, highest more than Nagoot only phones are available. That is 95% of mobiles are available, have a higher version of the Nagoot. So because of that, those features are very important, because if as a developer, if once I done one project and submitted that to some of them, they said that okay, this is not working. So then immediately, if in case that particular feature is not supporting on this particular version, immediately we can update them. Okay, this particular feature is not working on this specific functionality, so that easily they can understand that, instead of doing R&D and all that. Because of that, next version wise features are very important, so that we will see tomorrow. Okay, any questions from anyone? So as I told, because of no cover, that's the reason I closed early today. So tomorrow we will see this. Okay, then we will meet tomorrow.